over the years, I've been asked a couple times about our truck setups. Now this is Bessie. She's my 2021 Dodge Ram 5500 turbo diesel. It's a Cummins. I know nothing about engines, about motors, about vehicles for the most part. I'm a Vaultman. I can tell you everything about that. It's got an engine up front, makes it go vroom. We buy these trucks plain with no bed on them whatsoever, and we ship them to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where SBI Manufacturing produces our truck beds for us. They do a bunch of different agricultural products. They do custom machining, custom welding, custom manufacturing. They're a great company, and that's who we get our beds from. That's for as long as I've been here, so for over 10 years now. We ship our trucks down there, they make the beds, and then a local Wilbur area puts the beds on the trucks for us, and then we go pick them up. So I've had this one for about 4 years now, and I've got 150,000 miles on it or so it's about time for an upgrade for me. About every other year we buy a new truck, that way our trucks don't get too aged. We have trucks that are as old as the 1990s that we still use, but those stay more local. That's our dump truck. For these trucks, they travel a long distance, we put a lot of miles on them, so that's why we switched over back in 2017 to the Dodge Ram diesels. Now we may be switching back soon. We've had some issues when it comes to the exhaust systems. Mine only had about 50,000 miles on it, and I blew up the turbo, blew up the injectors, and a bunch of other terminology that I don't understand, but that was under warranty. That wasn't really the truck's fault. I mean, you can say whatever, it had some issues with it early on. But I think with the cost of DEF fluid and with the cost of getting these maintained, we don't have somebody in-house anymore that does our oil changes and whatnot, so I think we're gonna switch back to either F550s, maybe switch over to a 450, maybe switch over to GMC, try a Chevy. We're not 100% sure yet, but we have had some issues with the Dodges. But I love this truck, so if it's mine for a long time, I don't mind one bit. It's really nice, and it's one of the few that we have with air conditioning. But let's go over to the real reason I wanted to make the video, is the custom bed on the back. So these trucks are built and manufactured specifically for the equipment that we use. It is like a standard where all the different vault companies will buy a bed almost identical to this one. They have a few different options where you can have 2 full sets of equipment in a truck if that's the type of bed you want. For us, we just do 1 service per truck, and it has specialized compartments that fit everything just perfectly. In my front compartment here, I keep my lowering device on the top shelf. It's the perfect length. It collapses and fits right in there. I keep my safety bars, 1-man bar, and guide bars on that top shelf as well. At the bottom, we keep our Wilbur Way feet and our cables. And then up here I have my odds and ends, my rags for cleaning, Windex, a handful of tools, some touch-up paints, and my broom stays up top. As well, of course, you gotta have the WD-40. So that's the first compartment. The rear compartment, we have a shelf up here specifically made to fit our lid carriers up top. On the middle shelf is where most of our guys keep our wood boards that support the weight of the vault. We use these to level out the platform. On the bottom shelf, we have all of our stakes. These are T-stakes for walls and for ropes. And then we have the carpet stakes on this side. In the middle, we have our main extension that holds the entire tent frame up and connects to the 4 corners, as well as my rails and one of my middle poles. Up top, we have our sledge, our extra stakes, our shovel, and all the ropes we need to keep a tent safe. Down on the middle shelf, I have my 2 main 4x4s that I use every day, all my extra extension pieces that attach to the main frame extension that holds the tent up, and one of my middle poles as well. Now this bottom shelf fits your entire tent on a normal setup, but since we use a 6-pole 15 by 20 foot tent, there's not quite enough room at the bottom shelf to fit our 2 middle poles as well. So the middle poles I put on the middle shelf. I always know where they're at, they're easy to get to, and our 4 corners go on the bottom. So this is our main tent area for all of our poles here, as well as our carriers and rails and all of our blocks, stakes, ropes, odds and ends up here as well. Now the very back is our longest compartment. In this compartment, I have my extension, which is the 8-foot flat top extension. The 2 poles for it go back here, as well as the support beams that go above that extension to keep it level if any water gets into it. And all my main boards, so all my aluminums, all my wood boards, everything I need to set the vault. Another question I've been asked a lot is, why do I use wood boards on one side, aluminums on the other side, and aluminums in the middle? Well, that's what I have available. The wood boards that I have, I use 3 on the back side. It creates a nice platform where the carpets sit level and flush. I don't technically have to have 3 back there. I could just put 1. and put the carpet over it, but it wouldn't look as nice. And if I'm using the buggy, I need 2 wood boards back there. So every one of our trucks is outfitted right now, which means we're short on aluminums because a lot of times some of the trucks aren't getting used and those aluminums can be shared between the other trucks. For me, I'd rather have 2 aluminums on the front family side for everybody to walk on so they're nice and sturdy, 2 aluminums for the middle that you have to support the weight of the vault when you set it down, and 2 aluminums, 3 aluminums on the back side to make a nice level looking platform. But right now this is all the aluminums I have access to, so I use the wood boards on the back side, and I use them on the back so that no one steps on them. If you do, they're a lot springier. They're not going to break or anything. They're 2 inches thick. No one's going through one of these, but it is safer to walk on the aluminums. They don't have as much give. So that's the back compartment. The only thing else back here is my flagpole. It's long, so it has to go in the longest compartment that we have. Last responder sticker. On the back side of the truck, there's not a hole. On the back side of the truck, I keep my canvases, all my walls and tops. In the rear compartment, I keep all walls. So we've got a dirt wall on bottom, a dirt wall in the back, a 15-foot straight, a 20-foot straight, and an 8-foot straight. And I keep them all in a certain spot so I know exactly what I need. I can pull it out. It always stays in the same place. So these are all the walls that I use. And the final compartment, we have our tops. So we have our extension top is over here behind the chair covers. Those are the chair covers that are blue Wilbert chair covers. If we're servicing a Tri-Guard burial vault, we'll have separate chair covers in the cab. And this is my main top, the large 15 by 20 foot top that you see me put up in the other videos. On the top shelf, we have extra walls. So in the wintertime when it's really cold and we're running heaters, I can set a second 20-foot straight across the front, keep that heat in there, and when family arrives, I can pull that wall off, everybody can get in, and I can close it back up if they so choose to try to stay as warm as possible in that weather. There's also another extension wall for that reason as well, to wall that off and make sure all the heat stays in. On the top shelf, I just cleaned it out, so kind of a rare sight. The only thing in it is a couple extra ropes and my grandpa's level. Normally back here, I'll keep extra cables, I'll keep extra pieces of carpet that I need. A lot of times the foundations on headstones are too close to my equipment to be able to put my full T-carpets folded up in between them. So I had 2 pieces of T-carpets that I could use, but they were just really skinny, 4 feet long pieces, so you don't have to fold them up or anything. But those got real ratty, so I threw them out, and right now that's an open spot available. So right now it's empty. Maybe I should do what all the other, YouTubers or TikTokers do and say, leave in the comments what you think I should put in here or something like that. But I'll probably end up throwing a couple of those adjustable weights in here because now that I've got a newborn and 2 other kids in sports, I need to get some workout time in, and I've not been going to the gym as much lately because wake up in the morning, get the kids where they need to go. By the time I'm off work, it doesn't feel right to go to the gym and make my baby stay at the babysitter's longer, so I always just go straight and pick him up. And sometimes I can get to the gym en route and take my lunch break after my service or before it. But yeah, maybe I'll throw some weights in there, a kettlebell, and get some workouts in while I'm waiting on the service to arrive if I've got the time for that. But so that's the back compartment. Extra walls, main top, extension top, and chair covers. This tank up here is what makes my second livelihood possible. This is just a 35-gallon drum, and all I do is I fill it up with water and I put a little nozzle at the bottom of it. A lot of cemeteries don't have water that you can access to fill up your pump sprayer to clean headstones. So without this, I wouldn't have any ability to be able to clean the headstones in a cemetery that doesn't have a spigot of some kind. So that's my tank. Up here I've got all my headstone cleaning supplies, all my brushes and solutions and things of that sort, pump sprayers, and I keep it in there so I can just wheel that out to wherever I'm cleaning a headstone at. And we also have my blower and trimmer on top of the truck up front. I think it goes without saying that on top of the truck I keep all my carpets. They don't have to be kept dry. I also keep my ovation equipment up here because it's easier to keep it on top and clean it every time I use it than it is to find a place inside the bed to fit it, because it doesn't fit in the bed anywhere in a good way. They're not designed to hold these bent rails, and if I put them in the side over there where I showed you where my rails are earlier, it takes up the entire compartment, so I can't put my extension top pieces in there. It just takes up all the room. So I keep them on top and I clean them every time I use them. And then we've also got a stack of plywood in the back that every truck has. If you're using a Hilljoy, you have to plywood if the ground's wet at all, because it'll just sink the treads into the ground. With a buggy, 90% of the time you don't have to board in. You're not putting deep enough ruts, and it's got enough traction to get through the cemetery. But on really muddy days, we lay these boards down underneath our tires. So that's what the stack in the back is for. And over to the top of the truck on this side, I have my Hilljoy ramps, which are as long as the truck bed is itself. I haven't had to use those for a long time, thank goodness. I'm over being a Hilljoy guy. I'd much rather have my buggy. But I've also got a 5-gallon bucket full of gravel up here. If I ever reset a floated headstone, it's good to have a little bit of gravel to mix in with the dirt. Helps it keep from settling quite as much, and you can really tamp it in and make sure that it's going to be level and stay level once you leave. On this side, I've also got my runners, which is what you put on each side of the burial vault. It's basically a big green carpet, but it's only half the width, and it's stitched all the way around, so you don't have to worry about it fraying. But those go on the aluminums and go right up against the vault. And then I've got my 12 chairs for the service. Every truck has 12 chairs. It's just the number that's been chosen over the years. I'm not sure where it came up with. Why 10, not 15? Why 12, not 8? I don't know. 12 is what we offer, and if you know you're going to need more, we always have the availability to bring out more chairs to whatever service. So it's not like you only get 12 and that's it. You got to pay extra to get more. No, if you got 20 people that need seats, we'll bring 20 chairs out. As long as we don't have like 15 services that day, we'll make it happen. We'll make it work for every family we can. Then lastly, up front, we have our tractor jack, our extra set of 4x4s in case we need to raise the vault up high to get over a headstone or anything. Usually there's 2 blocks up here for using a Hilljoy. I don't have a Hilljoy, and one of the guys needed a 3 block that I wasn't using, so I gave him mine, and I'll replace it if I ever go back to using a Hilljoy. But yeah, that's what we keep up here, and a cinder block. It's always good to have a cinder block on your truck. You might find yourself in a situation where one corner of the grave is really, really low compared to the others. Throw a cinder block up there, you don't have to worry about stacking a bunch of boards on top of each other. So yeah, these trucks are made by SBI Manufacturing in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and they do a fantastic job. We've never had an issue with these beds other than your normal wear and tear. You know, the hinges of the doors start going out after so many years, and we get those replaced. And other than that, man, they're built tough. I love the rhino liner they started putting on the beds this year. So it was 2021 they started doing that, covering the whole top of it with rhino liner. Really helps keep stuff from sliding around on top of the bed of the truck. So I don't know if anybody that's going to see this will ever need something custom made for farm equipment or for vehicles or transportation or whatever, but if you built or something unique need built, contact SBI. They're a great company. So I almost forgot 2 things. You always got to have a fishing rod and a tackle box with you. You never know when you're going to come across a pond or have the opportunity to fish. And of course, most importantly, my little fam. You got to have a picture of the little family in the truck, but I did just add a newborn 8 months ago, so I got to get an updated family picture to put in here. But until I get that family picture, I can just look down and see my baby boy's footprints right there on my arm, so I got them with me all the time too. So that's the truck setup. I hope that answered questions for all the people that were asking about how it's built and things like that. Not a mechanic, so I don't really know how to explain all the specs with the truck and the bed and things like that, but that's how our bed's set up. That's who makes them, and thank y'all for watching. Take care. God bless.